Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Zombies Love Bacon podcast. This is episode 11. Still not cancelled, not planning on getting cancelled, yet we keep inviting this guy on. We're joined today by Frog. I don't know
what's going on.
It's and back after missing last week is Shelby.
Hi.
And then coming to us across the globe is North Star.
Hello, I'm just here to figure out what everyone's favorite number in the alphabet is, and you can use fruits and vegetables to describe your answer.
3 bananas and a kumquat.
Yeah, kumquat, that's what I'm talking about.
Grapefruit, always grapefruit.
It's always
and we haven't even got started, all right?
We were at the shop, so we had to dispute over what candles to buy because the set did a grapefruit candle, 3 flavors.
So naturally you bought the
grapefruit
Oh,
one.
here's a question. So it's just wax, right? So technically you could still have some extracurricular activities.
You could definitely recreate some grapefruit stuff.
There are candles. There are candles.
There's a lot of people that listen to this podcast have no idea what we're talking about.
Wait, no context.
Candles. Yeah, there's 6 candles. So
wait,
what?
I need what?
Okay, there's candles you can get that when you light them, the wax is actually just like a massage oil, but also there's like a form of like kink play with candles where they pour hot wax on each other's skin as anything.
Oh yeah, I've done that.
On their foreskin?
Yeah.
I was thinking more in the grapefruit.
I mean, no,
doing it with a candle.
I guess you could.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Let's get a candle and like hollow it out.
I think it was like 31 seconds before we went to pure filth in this podcast. Maybe.
Is that a record?
It's definitely something. It's definitely something.
I mean, it is viable. Going back to the it is viable because you know how when you the first burn like get like you
gotta stop a thing called tunneling. You and I are right.
Hang on, let's go back. Go back. Are you a candle maker or like a candle enthusiast? Frog?
No, I just.
Is this something you do while you're watching The Crown?
Your girlfriend knows a lot about candles.
Ah, interesting. So you should inform her of this information that you possess now.
On my shelf right now.
I mean, think about it. You don't have to worry about cutting the grapefruit wrong to, not match the size because you can just form it with the wax. Exactly. I like it. This is futuristic.
And then when you heat it up,
go on. Keep going.
One size fits all.
Yeah. I mean, push past that barrier and mold it yourself.
Go on. Right, you got this.
I don't know where I'm going.
I think what the takeaway is everyone should buy massage candles.
As in you should massage candles?
Their correct name.
You know that whole thing was the fact that she's like, I like these candles, these are better. I'm like, yeah, you're all about the grapefruits, aren't you? But I always like...
I said yes.
Yeah, but I always, my new favorite thing to do is to yell out something that's like semi what the fuck in like a shop and then see other people's reactions. I can't remember. There was something the other day. That. I said something just absolutely just grotesque, and Shelby was like, just continue the conversation. Like, did you not notice the people staring at us? I think it was,
who doesn't?
There was something I said
with their friends and scream out for herpes cream.
There was something I said in Kmart. I think I yelled something out, and some woman like, "That's not very nice."
Yeah, we constantly verbally assault each other in Kmart. That's just what you do. You go to Kmart and you bully your partner, right?
Yeah, it'll be. She'll be like, "Hey,
Absolutely.
do we want this chair?" And I'll be like, "You're a chair," and then just walk on.
Okay, I remember what it was.
What was it?
Was it something about like there was a chair and I like sat in it and you were making fun of me the right size for my butt and like it was quite like it was like it was a cozy fit and you were being mean about it. And you kept making comments like that as we were walking through the homes department. That woman,
No, but you said something, and then you said something, and then I said like I called you back, whatever it was. You said like something like, "Oh, should we get a chair?" I'm like, "Why do I need a chair?" or something like that. It's my new favorite. I try to remember what the thing I said was the other day because we were like walking. I think we're walking through the supermarket, and like we're to our vision, we're walking out, and that's fine. But just on the other side of that little bit of half aisle, people are checking out. So I said something like totally offensive, and the people checking out are like, "Oh my,
we need to get out of here."
I just love it
Shopping
so much.
with us is fun.
I've given up.
That's why you need to like by any chance growing up witches.
Nah.
Because Dad and I directly to their face. So
this is like the toaster argument from last week.
What did you?
I called Eladia fucking. But like you can do shit like that, and it sounds like you're speaking.
We're more the kind of kids where like you'd be in the supermarket and whatever, and then And then like let's say like if we're at the hardware store, say, and like we're buying a shovel and whatever, there will be the smart ass kids be like, "Mum, is that what we're gonna bury the dead man with?" And then they're like, "Shut up! No, shut up!"
Similarly, like when I'm shopping with, there's been quite a few occasions when she and I just start bantering, and it's not obvious to people that we're bantering, and I'll just be like, I'll throw some shopping trolley. I don't know why I Americanized it there for North Star's sake. But throw
I
something
appreciate
trolley,
it.
I'll be just like here's your canned corn, you fucking bitch.
Oh.
And like people just look at us, we're fucking like abusing the hell out of each other. We're fine. It's just how we talk. It's fine.
Yeah, it's
angry.
It's I mean, this is the thing, right? And we're just gonna get cancelled eventually anyway, so we might as well just come out and say it, right? Australians, the way we talk to people, would be like, "Hey, cunt, what are you fucking doing?" You know, like I've literally been like at work, like serving customers or whatever, and hear someone go, "Oi, you cunt! I haven't seen you fucking ages." And then like people that like people that aren't born and raised Aussies, outback, bit rough, whatever, will be just totally offended by that. But everyone else is just like, that's just normal English for us. Like it's not even. Like no one's like yelling out, "Think of the children!" It's like no, it's just
better in effect.
Yeah, well,
I was told today at work that I have to stop signing off with kind regards. Too formal, so now I have to say cheers.
yeah, I say thanks. That's thanks.
Cheers.
Too formal? That's a thing?
I'm
In
too
Australia,
formal. I am
people,
very formal.
particularly in like in my industry and probably Frog's industry as well, maybe even Shelby's. It's like it's almost frowned upon to be too formal. Like that's like a snobby fucking up themselves assholes. We don't want to talk to them. Don't trust them. They're snobs, sort of thing. So you probably get more respect out of being, "Oi, you cunt."
I mean, like, similarly, though, like, as well, I was checking out my store policy today. I mean, not my store policy. I don't work in a store anymore. Sorry, retail PTSD. I was looking at my company manual today about, like, dress code, and it goes, yeah, you can show up to work in your thongs and your shorts. We don't really give a shit. There's a lot of swearing in, like, our company book as well.
Interesting.
What I'll say is, like, it's an Australian thing, 100%. And I love that I've stumbled across now a couple of times where, like when I started like on watching TikToks and stuff, it all seemed to be really local. Now I've seemed to have like branched into international stuff, and I get a lot of videos like things that you wouldn't expect in Australia, being called a cunt. It's like, yeah, it's normal here. It's fine. It's not offensive, but yeah, it's obviously offensive to a lot of other people.
I had that talk with Tash the other day. It's like you guys throw that word around like it's nothing, but here, like many people hate that word.
Yeah,
and they find it offensive, and it's weird.
But like not like a little bit offensive, very offensive.
Like a lot, yeah. Like don't go up to a girl and call her a cunt because there's a high probability that she will not like it.
I probably still wouldn't advise calling random cunt.
Oh no, yeah, no. Like it's particularly like okay, so maybe there's certain parts of Australia where it's just like vocabulary on the street, stuff like that. But like Melbourne in particular is very multicultural. So you try to tone it down. But you definitely, like I said, in my industry, which is basically like builders and carpenters and stuff like that, construction, it's part of the lingo, you know? And yeah, if you call them sir, they would be more offended.
Yeah, I've definitely got to like learn that again. I went to that working a fancy retail store environment, kind of being sir and ma'am to people, to now a lot of the times when I'm on the phone at work, I'm talking to tradies because that's what we do. We talk to builders and tradies, and subcontractors and suppliers and stuff. So it's all a lot of banter, and it's a lot of oh, how you going?
Okay, mate, how's it going?
Lottie brought up a really good one. Calling people cob, right?
Yeah.
Me and my mates, we always used to call cob because we could say it really quickly and go.
I find it offensive. People that call me cob, I find it offensive. I feel downgraded. But yeah, get cob. So what?
You call all your mates, but the thing was, we used to call our mates cob. We'd call our wanted to hang in our friends group cock, but we'd say it the same pace, so it sounded the same. So it's like we're greeting them, but we're actually fucking them over. And like only like the inner circle would understand that we're actually fucking just like taking a piss. Like yeah.
But
I kind of want
to give a sorry, you go.
No, go ahead. You go. Mine's a segue.
To give a really good example, Nor, I walked into work this morning, right?
Why didn't you drive?
Well, you can't drive into a factory because that
not
would
a
cause
drive-through.
major
Sure you
structural
can.
damage.
Absolutely can.
You know, it cause major structural
And you
damage.
just shouldn't.
Yeah, it's more of a suggestion.
All right. Okay, everyone. All right, Mr. Literal. Fucking Jesus Christ. All right. So I walk into work, and I start my day. I'm cleaning all these panels, right? My fucking boss, and this guy's like pretty high up in the company. He's just he walks in. It's like hour and a half late. Just yells out across the factory. What's going on, pin dick? Fuck up any more panels, you dick. Fuck up any more panels, you dumb cunt. And then I was like, what's going on, cunt? That's a formal greeting in an Australian
Yes, in
work
other
site.
countries that's pronounced. G'day, hello, fine sir. How has your day been?
Yeah.
It's improved over yesterday.
And then he goes, but then he proceeds to like go, oh shit, me leg's been playing up. Fucking sat on the couch last night. Fucking popped 2 Panadine forts. Drank half a slab. Fucking woke up all right, eh? Sorry, I'm an hour and a half late. Fuck, slept in a little bit, but I'm just like that is a Thursday night.
Let me tell a quick story here, because so for those who don't know, I don't necessarily work in the same position that I did back this time, but it was basically a hardware store that was half trade and half retail. So when I say retail, like it had housewares, everything else sort of stuff, and I was in charge of the retail side of things, which means you get the people that aren't tradies and carpenters coming in and shopping with the tradies and carpenters and whatever else. So you gotta mix it up. So some people you go mate, and the other people you'll be like, hey, how are you going? How's your day been? Blah blah blah. And I remember that I was talking to this friend of mine he's rough, like he's done some shit, and he's been to prison a couple of times or whatever. But he's a builder now, like he's reformed. But we were talking some mad shit. Anyway, he started talking, and he started looking around, and he's like, "Oh man, I got to tell you about something." And I'm like, so I had a quick peek out around the aisle, suffer at this counter that's sort of hidden away. I looked over. I was at the paint. There's a big stack of paint there, and then I looked down the other aisle. It's all clear. I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh, yeah, this fucking bitch last night, and he started talking this. I'm like, and he's talking about he banged some chick, and then he passed out afterwards, and she stole his car, and then he went over and fucking did something, whatever. Anyway, we're dropping F's and C's, going crazy, and then fucking. We're pissing ourselves laughing. And then he goes, all right, no worries, mate, catch ya. And he walks off, and then I walk out from behind the counter. And behind the stack of paint cans is this old lady who's like 4 foot tall, so I never saw her, who listened in on the whole conversation. And she's giving me the dirtiest look. And I'm just like, can I help you? She just walked off. It's not my fault you're 4 foot tall.
Yeah, grow some more. Fuck.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I've had some old ladies really kind of prove me wrong about them as well. I did my work experience in an aged care facility when I was 16, and like it was great. I was assigned there. I was part of the hospital, pathology, whatever. And I'm hanging out with these 2 old ladies, and they're both named the same name. They're both named Ruth. One
of course. Do old people, old ladies have normal names and then evolve into Ruth?
I don't know if you know much about the game.
This is such a fact.
I don't know if you know much about the game Rummy, where it's played with like little
Yes.
tiles. Anyway, so they're just playing Rummy, and then they are talking to me, whatever. And the other one is like holding the bag hostage, and the other one goes to her, "Give me the fucking bag of tiles, you fucking idiot." And then the other one goes, "Don't swear in front of the fucking kid. She's a fucking child." And they're just going off, and it starts going back and forth. And I'm just sitting there just like, I feel at home here. This just reminds me of being at home.
There's definitely...
That's what I'm used to.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely that, but in this case, she was just judging me completely. Because what we were talking about, I don't want to mention it because I don't want to get super cancelled. But like, yeah, it was a whole fucked up thing, and it was right for us to check that no one was listening, and we just didn't check thoroughly enough. But I remember when I did work experience, I did printing. I went to it, and it was an old school printers. Like we had the big presses, and like everything was done manually. I learned a lot about why I don't want to be a printer, so it was a good experience. But it was also where I was working at the time was right near this old folks' home where my nana was living, and I had a very similar experience because I used to go there. Because when I say this printer, all right, and let's keep in mind that this is an old school printer that was old school when I worked there 15 years ago. Old school, just very clear. Old school.
So predating the 19th century, yeah?
Feel like that, yes. So anyway, when you get there, the woman of the house makes you your morning tea and bakes you a cake. And if you need anything, she'll run errands for you. She is the woman of the business. And she prepares us lunch as well. And yeah, basically, it's like the 1950s. And yeah, anyway, not the point of the story. The point of the story is they gave me like an hour and a half for lunch because if everyone like has a full cooked meal and stuff. And I was just like, I'm just going to go visit my nana. And I remember we went there and she had like Alzheimer's and stuff like that. Kind of creepy. That's why she was in a home. And I remember she got there and I brought her the paper and stuff like that. I'm like, here you go. And then the carer's like, oh, they've been a bit feisty today. I forget her name. Let's call her Ruth. Ruth in the next room is convinced your nana of stealing her clothes pegs. And then my nana's like, I didn't steal that bitch's pegs. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. It's like, yeah. And then as soon as the carer left, and my nana's like, I stole that bitch's pegs. It's like, okay. I'm like, wow.
Fuck that bitch, Ruth. Fuck her.
Okay, all right. She's. But from what I've heard, old folks' homes can be very, very wild. So let's just leave it at that. I think it's probably a good time to leave that. But yeah.
Talking
Old
about
people- old
like
people in general.
language and stuff. Do you guys have any really inappropriate nicknames for your pets? Like any mean things you call your pet?
I mean,
I really treat I call my cat Fat Fuck all the time because of the fact that he looks like he's pregnant. But
I mean, I call my cat a cunt a lot, like a lot.
Well, your cat is a cunt.
Yeah, he is. he and like he was being. I was thinking about this earlier today because I've had cats all my life, like all my life, so many cats, and they all sort of turn out very similar. And I think that's a lot of the fact of most of them are basically inbred, right? Because because you end up having cats who have cats and who end up banging each other who have more cats and so on, particularly when you're out in the farm. And then when I moved into the city, I've only ever had 2 cats who lasted a lot longer than the cats on the farm because they don't play with snakes and things like that. And then this cat that I have now is the first time that it's just been me and the cat majority of the time, right? Like this cat knows 2 people, well 3 people technically, myself, Shelby, and the vet. That's it. And this cat has some weird like habits, and I'm starting to think it's my fault because other cats don't do the things this cat will be, I'm bored, I have all the toys in the world, I'm going to come and attack you, you're going to play with me. And then I'll go, no, I'm not, and he will scream at me. Like, he will yell at me like he's in pain, but he's not, he just wants to play. But if you're walking past, you're like, oh my cat, a cat's dying in there. It's not. It's just, he will scream at you, and then you give you his hand, and you start biting it, and then it makes him happy. I'm like, what is wrong with you? This is not normal. I've spent hundreds of dollars on toys here. Just fucking go chew a toy. But it's done it. But then, like today, I tried to sleep in because I'm on holidays still. It's my last day off of holidays, and his new favorite thing is to get under the blankets of the bed and like run around in there. I'm like, I don't get to sleep. I've never had this problem before. The last cat would sleep on the very edge back corner of the bed as not to be disturbed, and we'd all have a very nice sleep. This cat is just like, fuck you. I'm gonna scratch you, jump on you, run around, knock things over. And I'm just like, what, why? How do I make you happy?
We introduced a habit onto my dog, which was really everyone told us, don't let your dog in the bed. You'll never get him out of it, right? When he was a pup, Cavalier pups are the most adorable fucking things. They're just little beans. They're like a bag of beans that just like
they're a beanie baby come to life. They're like a little.
It's
Frog
literally
is a connoisseur of beans of the sorts.
yeah, it's an expert on beans. But yeah, basically, he was adorable, and so he all he wanted to do, because he's just a all he wants is to sleep near you, right? Or like be near you.
Yeah.
And so he would come up and he'd sit between us, right? Now it's gone to the point where, you know, the bed is his. Like if we go to bed, he is coming into bed with us, right?
Yep.
So he will, or like some days he will put himself to bed. Like he will go into the bed, burrow under the blankets and tuck himself in. Like he is that, like he is like a human, right? In that aspect. Except for like several times he has this tendency to like sleep. Like if I'm lying face up or like on my side, he will come and he will lie like on my leg, like on my thigh, to the point where now he's gotten a bit heavier. And like after all the whole night, I woke up like 2 nights ago and I couldn't feel my fucking leg. It was 3 a.m. I panicked and I was like, where the fuck's my leg caught? And I've like flicked myself out of the bed. Meanwhile, he's freaking out because it's like he's suddenly just gone flying off the fucking bed. And then I'm just like, screaming in the corner. My girlfriend wakes up, she's like, shut the fuck up. It's 3 a.m. And yeah, it's just he has this like tendency to this. He picks the most annoying fucking spots.
Yeah.
It's comfy as fuck for him.
Yeah.
But he picks
It's
the
his
most
bed.
annoying spots.
Yeah.
But it's his bed.
Yeah.
So
See, my problem is like
the-
I'm fine with the animal coming to sleep in the bed. Like we will find a position where we're both happy in sleep. The thing is, he comes to bed. He's like, "Oh, it's bedtime. Sweet, I'm coming to bed. I'm gonna bring my toys though. I gotta keep playing in here." I'm like, "No, it's fucking sleep time." So there's one thing there's a video that I saw. It's before I got the cat, and it actually made me go, "Fuck, do I actually want another cat?" And there was a cat on YouTube where it learnt that like it could tap its back leg really fast, like a rabbit almost. And if he taps it on like a door, it makes this like noise of like it sounds like thunder. And he does that all the time to get attention because he learnt that he gets attention by making this fucking racket. I'm like, if I had a cat that did that, I think I'd die. Like, I think I'd go insane. So anyway, he learnt a way to make a new noise this morning, and I fucking hate it. And it's
He did learn.
It's not that though, right? And like, so he hasn't got to that, but I think he might. This is the problem. So he discovered that he does the scratching motion, like he's trying to dig something up. And he started doing that when he's trying to get into the shower, because like he has to be with you at all times. So even if you try to have a shower, he like starts just digging on the door for ages. And then I saw him yesterday go out the door, out into the balcony, then did a 180 to where the door is, and then just start scratching on the door. That is open. And I'm like, why is he doing that? What was he trying to, like, and then I figured out today it's attention seeking, because now when I want to get out of bed, he was making that noise on the wardrobe door and just like banging the door at the same time. So all I can hear is this thump, 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 thump of the door going over and over and over and over again. And he can hold that up. Like he can hold pace for minutes, if not like 10, 15 minutes at a time. And I'm like, if I give him attention, he gets what he wants.
I think I'm part responsible for that because
you were doing the window
last week
thing.
I was there. Yeah, so there's a window in front of my desk and I'll be there and he was doing it while I was working and just like going outside, starts smashing on the window and then I play with him through the glass. So it's my fault.
So you've taught him and you haven't.
He'll do that. I also taught him to go under the covers, but that's another story. So, you know, he's smashing on the glass. Then you come outside and look at what he's doing and look at me through the window, which is, you know, startles me every time. But yeah, that's
my only hope.
Bad habits might be my fault.
My only hope is that he gets old and fat and slow.
Mature, especially when we cut his balls off,
Start
you
giving
know.
him lasagna.
No. Getting fat and slow is not a thing that stops annoyingness.
While this is great conversation, I do need to excuse myself for a minute. So I hope the conversation is still appropriate by the time we get back.
You got your Macca's
What's the
coming.
topic?
No, it's KFC for the whole family.
Oh my!
'cause I got a
Did someone
job
say
and
KFC? Anyway, Frog.
Sorry. Yeah. So being a fat cat does not excuse it being less annoying. My fat cat has discovered a way. So we've had to like. So he figured out how to open cupboards.
Yeah.
He knows how to open cupboards. Like he hooks his paw under and he fucking pulls the thing open. It's like insane. Like he uses handles and he twists handles. It's weird. Like
Yeah, cats can do that.
Yeah, cats could do that.
Circular knob handles too. Like not just like the ones that are like he will literally put pressure and he will twist it.
Yeah,
then
it's
pull.
scary.
Like it's scary.
Every
how
time I
fucking
see that,
smart
I
he
think
is.
of the scene of Jurassic Park where like the raptors start using the handles, and then
Yes.
yeah, that's what I think of every time. It's like
Clever girl.
clever girl. But
But-
I've had I had a fat cat previously, and it's like he was still playful, but like, as he got old, he got very old. But he also like he was nearing, I think his max weight was maybe 10 kilos. And he was big. But the only problem that I had with him was that like when he came to bed, it was a cannonball, and you'd get 10 kilos land on your chest while you're asleep, and you go.
Well, see, this guy is so food oriented that he has figured out a way. So he opened, first off, he was opening the cupboards in the bathroom where we keep the food, right? He would open it, right? And then you'd hear this, it'd be 2 a.m, you'd hear this, and the fucking, all the pellets are out all over the floor. He's like, tip the fucking tin over. Because we used to have the tin just next to the fucking place. He used to tip that over. He figured that out. So we put it in the cupboard. He figures the cupboard out. Next, we start putting elastic bands on the actual cupboard door. Now he's just got these he screams at 2 a.m. And we hear boom, 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 as he's like flicking the door back and forth, banging off the elastic band, and it sounds like someone is breaking into the house. So someone could break into my house and I would not know, because I'm so now accustomed to my cat. Like
some bloke walks into your bedroom and he's like going through stuff, and you'll be like, "Fucking
You're not my
cat,"
cat.
and then he'll be like, "Excuse me."
Shut the fuck up, Bean. I'm not Bean. God, that's actually what I've named my cat Bean after that.
I told you, you're a connoisseur of beans.
I'm a connoisseur of beans.
He is the bean guru.
Yeah, so you have a food obsessed cat. I have a play obsessed cat. My cat will meow at me when the food bowl, like he'll just go, "I need food," and like he'll give me food and go, "Thank you," but he won't eat it. And he'll just walk off. I'm like, wasting money.
Oh,
Wasting money.
You know why we are going broke, and then just snap your fingers.
I mean, I do. I tell the cat many times. I'll be like, "You need to leave me the fuck alone. I need to go to sleep because I need to get up and I need to go to work to get food for your fat ass." And then it just claws me in the middle of the night and it doesn't give a fuck. But that's fine. It's whatever.
I gave Chip a lecture while I was on meeting with this cat-loving supervisor of mine. And I was in the meeting. Chip is clawing the shit out of my chair. I pick him up and I look him in the eyes and I go, "I'm trying to make money so I can buy you cat treats. Leave me alone."
He's
just loses it.
like, the way he's acting lately is he'll play until the point where he just gets exhausted and then he'll just close his eyes and pass out. And then you'll just find this dead cat on the ground. Like, oh, your batteries ran out. It's not like a Roomba. It doesn't go back to home base and recharge. It just falls out there. It's like, fucking cats, man. Like, the only thing is, and on an absolute serious note, and like, because a lot of people, unfortunately, a lot of people will go, "Oh, I want a cat," and they'll get a cat, and then they take lots of pictures of it. It grows up, turns out to be a cunt, because cats usually are, and then they'll be like, "I'm just take it to the pound. I don't want it anymore," and whatever. But at the same time, and this is why I feel partly responsible for my cat being such an asshole, is the cat only knows 3 people and only knows like maybe 20 square meters, which is my entire house, and that's his entire world. There is nothing else to him. He can't leave. He can't be like, "I'm bored. I'm going to go down the road," or whatever. He can't do that. That's not an option for him. It's not like the farm cats that go, "I'm bored," and they run 40 kilometers away and then bring home a pigeon or something. You know, it's like this is his entire world. So as much as he's an asshole, like I understand why, but I'm not gonna give up on him being such an asshole.
My cats are they were former farm cats, which is it's really, like, when you think about it, it's really cruel, but it's like, if we didn't do what we've done, they would be living in the wild. Like that'd be their home. They would have no one, right?
Yeah.
So basically, like, they're my girlfriend's cats, and she lived on a farm, and then because they like, she was moving out, her mum was moving, everything happened. We had like a couple of months to like figure out what are we gonna do with the cats, because like we hadn't got a house yet, and the cats were just kind of like in this limbo, and we were just like, I can't have them at my place, like mum and dad's place, because my mum and dad's cat fucking hates everything. Like, it hates everything. Like, anyone that isn't immediate family, it just fucking hates it, right? So two like basically kittens at the point wouldn't do well in that household. Yeah. So I couldn't have it, and then my girlfriend was like living in a tiny apartment with her dad. Like, that was her other house, and so she was just like, "Well, we're gonna have to find something. So one of my friends from work actually was like, "Yo, they can stay in my shed if they want."
Okay.
And so my cats for I think it was like 2 months whilst we were finding a house. They lived in one of my good friends' house, like shed for like 2 months. It was just like a shed full of old farm equipment, and like she would go in there every morning, like check that they had food and water, that they were still alive, and then they just lived in this shed for like 2 months. It sounds really cruel, but it was the only option.
There's independent cats.
Yeah. They were independent cats. They survived enough, and then it was just like then we had to take them to our current house or our former house, and then now our current house, and they've been forced into becoming indoor cats because of the fact that there's like major roads near where we live, and they can't just go out into the backyard freely,
run over
and get run over, because we don't want that for them, because we know they will. There was times where we would find, when Bean was young, he was like, we would find him like at the other end of like the paddocks, and he'd be like 20 k's away.
Yeah,
like,
when I was at the farm, I'd have cats leave for a year and then just come back. And it's like, oh, I guess you're not dead. Here's your kibble. That's
pretty much.
That's what the farm cats are like. They're just completely. With this cat here, like a lot of people are like, oh, my cat thinks he's people. No, my cat thinks I'm cat. Like he thinks I'm another cat, and we're two cats, two bro cats in this apartment. But he's the alpha bro. And like, but it's like I can't leave him alone for a second. Like we can't be apart unless on his terms. He goes, I'm good, and just like goes to bed or something. Otherwise, he's looking over my shoulder right now. He's on his cat pole looking at me, and
you know what you have to do.
Like I'll be asleep, he'll be passed out snoring, and he snores like a motherfucker, right? And I'll like creep out of bed. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go use the bathroom. I won't disturb him, and he'll be snoring, right? Snoring. Go in the bathroom, I shut the door. Paul comes on the door. He's like, hey, yo, bro, you pooping? I'm like, get fuck off. Leave me alone. Give me 1 minute.
That door doesn't latch properly.
Yeah.
So he just easily pushes it open and invites himself in.
Even if you leave it
you'll
shut.
Be on the toilet.
Even if you leave it shut, it sounds like he's going to break the door down.
Yeah. You'll be on the toilet trying to do your business. Next thing you know, he's sitting next to you pounding on the shower door, and then you let him in there, and then he pounds on the inside of the shower door trying to attack you through the glass for some reason. And then he tries to rip the toilet paper out of your hands, and then climbs into your pants and stares at you from your own on the floor between your feet.
So
this cat is something else.
It's very needy. And like I said, because I always thought about it, it's like the whole like cat thing. I read an article and they're like, oh, cats think that you're a cat. They think you're a big dumb cat, and they're smarter than you, and that's how they treat you. And it's also the study found that cats understand you. Like a majority of things you say, they just don't give a shit. It's not that they don't understand you. They understand you fine. They just don't care. And I'm like, that makes so much sense.
I just want to go back to that point of you saying that your cat thinks that you're just two cats.
Yeah.
I think it's time to just embrace the fursuit, Aladi. Just walk around the house, just really lean into that.
Just become a full-on furry, or have you seen?
Furry,
it's a TikTok thing, and I saw one of these videos the other day where you could take a picture of your cat and get your cat's face printed onto a mask so that you could put it on and look like your cat. And this chick does it, and like she's like gets it in the mail, so she's outside, she puts the mask on, it's like, oh, let's see what the cat's response is. Opens the door, the cat's not even looking at it, looking at her feet, right, and going around normal, hey, how you going from work, blah blah. Looks up, sees the face, instantly is like, what the fuck? And it's just like you can just see the cogs going in the brain, like it's like Twilight Zone to them. Oh, this is great. I could do it. I could do it for the memes. Get a Chip face.
I'd be down for this.
I feel like a lot of the time Chip doesn't know what he looks like.
He definitely does. He's destroyed mirrors.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
I've seen like I always question, because like you never actually know what a cat's vision like is, because they can't tell us what they can see, But I always wonder what they can see in mirrors. But the way that Chip uses mirrors to like. Again, like if I go to the bathroom, I'll be like washing my hands, and then I look in the mirror and I make eye contact with the cat looking at me in the mirror down the hallway, and I'm like, is he looking at me through the mirror? And it's like, do the cats do that? I don't even know. It's probably another thing to look up. But it's just fucking, it's wild. And I've never had a cat like this. I've always had cats that are semi-independent or fully independent cats, like who will come and hang out and whatever. But this cat is like a part of everything I do in my house, and I can't escape it, which is fine, except it's getting bigger. And now like before, and like he's like, oh, I want to play, runs up and just launches at me, and in one foul swoop, got me bleeding like a lot. And I'm like, God damn it, why? And he's like, oh, whoops, too much power, you know.
When I first arrived, like a week ago to your house, and it had been a while since I'd seen him, and he's a lot bigger, and obviously his brain's working better, and well, that's debatable, but he kind of needed to be reintroduced to me a bit, and. The first night, you and I are in bed, you know, and we're cuddling and whatever, and he's looking at me like I'm the worst. Shut up, you. He's looking at me like I am the worst person ever. I am in his bed. I am hugging.
He definitely slept
his
like
bed.
where you would normally sleep on the bed, like last night he took over. But not only that, like the second you walked in, it was almost as if he's like, he looked at me, he's like, bro, you bringing a girl over? You didn't tell me, bro. And he goes, he gets so shitty. He's like, fucking, this is shit. Just storms off under the bed.
But then by the time I leave, like we're buddies again and we're cuddly, and you know he was like sleeping in between us or like sleeping on top of me instead of you.
Yeah, like he gets all comfortable with it. It's all fine, but yeah, it's definitely when that sort of change happens. And I've had it before, and I've like I had a cat get really sick, and then the vet's like they're stressed because they don't like change. Like they're very routinal animals where they sleep here and eat. This time they sleep, this time they play, this time they whatever. They just do the same shit every day. And then when you change shit, and like when I did my cooking stream the other day and shit got wild, the cat did not agree with that. Like he did not sign up for that shit in this house. And he was like upset for a day at least afterwards. and like I put everything back pretty quickly. And then I'm like, look, everything's back to normal. And he's just like, nah, I can't forget what happened.
I don't know, man.
But yeah, for those who didn't see the cooking stream, and I bring this up because there's double points here. We were doing a milestone, which is for raising money for the Starlight Foundation for the Stream Raisers campaign. And one of the things was to do a cooking stream, which I haven't done one for a while because A, they're expensive to do because you got to buy a lot of food and stuff like that, and B, they're a fucking nightmare to set everything up and then clean everything up.
Yeah, Shelby made quite the mess.
Yeah, Shelby did take over.
I cleaned.
I'm still finding food dye.
I hope so. You made the mess.
I cleaned while this guy was passed out wearing a Snorlax suit on the couch.
Needless to say, we raised a lot of money. I drank a lot of booze. I could have drunk more. I wasn't plastered or anything. I was just fucking.
Well,
I was cooked. I was cooked.
Subjective.
Well, plastered means it's like a roller coaster with me. You have a few drinks, it goes right up, and then it sort of starts to tinker down. And if you keep going, it goes right up again, and I become the energetic asshole that everyone wants to see. But I ran out of booze. That's pretty much how it worked out. But we did raise I think we raised like $1,000. The campaign technically goes for another month, but we've sort of done most of what we were planning to do already, which is a lot faster than planned. And they've already hit their goal, which was $150,000 in total for the Starlight Foundation. They hit that today. They actually partnered. They're doing streams on TikTok now. They partnered with a candy making company to make like Starlight candies and stuff like that, and stream it all live on TikTok. They hit their goal today, so it's pretty nuts. And like Starlight Foundations is an amazing organization, and their fundraising efforts, they do like 4 a year, but they have like a big one, and then which is their Game Changers thing, which is that they partner with EB Games or GameStop or those everywhere else in the world, and they do a huge campaign for a month. But this one we're doing, which is Stream Raisers, is basically just content creators in general, not just streamers, across all platforms, raising as much money as they can. It's always the more forgotten campaign, if that makes sense. But like it's partly like for our crew, like for the ZLB crew, we make up like 3, 4, 5 names, I think, in the top 10 earners, the top 15 earners for this campaign. And so when they've already successfully hit it with 30 days to go, a lot of that is from work that we've done. And like I got a message from the person who runs the stuff, and she's like, "You guys really stepped up. You know, we didn't expect to get so much love and attention. You know, it's not the popular, it's not the cool one to do each year. Like a lot of people do the other one, but yeah, it's weird because I've raised money and stuff before, and it's whatever. Like it's not. I don't do it for the fame and fortune. You do it because you have the platform and you can do something good for people. But I've had a lot of people be like, "Wow, you guys done such a great job," blah blah blah, and then I've had this weird sort of offshoot of people that have been like, "Huh, every time I try, I never raise any money. You know, it's like, how come you guys got to raise so much money?" I don't know what to tell them. I just like, because we did, which we did it, you know.
I feel like a lot of the times when people are complaining, and you go, "So what are you doing to promote it in your stream?" They're like, "Well, I have the banner at the top of my stream." I'm like, "Do you have any like special events or anything planned?" "Nah." "Do you have any special rewards?" "Nah." And then they go, "I'm just raising money." They don't really talk about it. You got to promote. You have to be nuts.
It's a weird
like
conversation because like things like it quickly turns. Oh, my community doesn't like that. Twitch doesn't support that. You know, if I was a partnered streamer, I'd get more attention. I'm like, there's so many excuses. Just fucking do it. And I fully would. I'm not going to, nowhere near am I going to raise enough money this time. And that's where I said to, you know, everyone else, I'm like, hey, do you guys want to do it? It'd be cool if we all just raised like $100, you know, like it doesn't need to be much. And like most of us have got $100. Some of us haven't even got that. Some people have got $30. It doesn't matter. The whole point is like awareness is more than important about the whole thing. And this is my point, is that all this shenanigans that we've done, even though we didn't raise, you know, pastily levels of money because the man's a legend, we brought awareness to the whole campaign, and there's a lot of people that joined in and helped it. It's not about dollar figures or being partnered or being promoted or having huge streams or anything like that. Like the cooking stream, as much as it was for raising money, we raised money for kids and whatever, it was just more for everyone to have a laugh, you know. It's not
For me, I've grown up not grown up. For the last couple of
Never
years,
grew up.
Says the man that sat in a kiddie pool holding beans above his head.
yes, there is that. No, but like I for the last couple of years that Starlight's been a thing and they've been on Twitch and they've been doing their shit. I've been watching a lot. I watched your stream last year, but like I've been watching Pestilli for like fucking ages, bro. Like back when like Tarkov had like no viewership whatsoever. I was interested in the game, and I was one of the alpha testers, right?
Yeah.
And like I've been watching like Tarkov streamers since then. Don't so much nowadays, but the efforts that man puts towards his fucking streams in terms of raising money for that is insane. Like he's a nutbag. And like I always thought like, oh yeah, I'm gonna move out, I'm gonna try streaming, I'm gonna give that a crack. Like you gotta actually, like I always thought it was, you gotta get popular, right? You gotta actually make something,
and then you gotta be
you gotta make
charity streams.
Yeah, and then you can do charity streams, right? Like the charities will come to you, ask if you want to like do this thing. No, it's not the case. Anyone can sign up to that shit. And if you've got an actual drive to do shit, like when I found out that I could sign up, I was like, fuck yeah. I'm in the same bag as Pestilli. This is a guy I look up to. He's a fucking Aussie icon. Like he's a legend. Like just
now you're on the same campaign.
And now I'm on the same fucking campaign, and I was like, holy shit! And so I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna make a meme of it. Like I'm just gonna be a dick. I'm gonna be not like a dick, but like I'm just gonna anything to make myself look bad. Like I don't give a shit what I look like on the internet.
You know what the people want.
And so like if people like. Shelby, you came into my stream and almost killed me with the cinnamon challenge.
Oh no!
Like I did dumb shit, right? Like I didn't care. I just wanted to make at least. My goal was like, if I can at least make $50, right? I set myself an ambitious actual goal, which was 200. But like I was just like, if I can make $50, I'll match that, right? And so, like you know, I'm gonna match whatever like my money. Like. I was just like, I really wanted to like just do something, which was cool, right?
Yeah.
And like I never thought I would get to the point where I'm at 275 or whatever I'm at.
Sitting
right
in a
now.
kiddie pool and pouring beans over your head.
Yeah. and
That's right.
and I hit my goal, and now I'm sitting in a kiddie pool, fucking covering myself with condensed milk, soy sauce, and beans. Like, what is going on? Like,
Poor Wally.
That's like whenever you do a charity stream, you want to like really put effort into it, you just ask yourself, what am I willing to do for money?
It's funny you say that, right? Because it's
$5 I'll do anything.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's like I often think about the fact that like all the shit that I do, like particularly like the charity stuff. Like charity should be something you should be proud of. You go, hey, I'm raising money for charity, blah blah blah. Like I would never tell the people I work with what I do for charity. like they're like, we're gonna raise money for charity. We're doing a 10K marathon this weekend. You know, we got to chip in, blah blah blah. And we're like, I ate a stick of butter.
This is kind of great because I got home yesterday and my mum goes, so what were you guys up to, you know, on the weekend or whatever? And I just pull up the video that I have of Eladi doing a shoey out of an Ugg boot dressed to Snorlax and a clip of him like smashing a mug on the floor that's filled with hot chocolate.
That was an accident.
And she's just, mind you, my parents have never met him. So their introduction to him is pretty much that. God. So yeah,
that wasn't me. That was Snorlax. It's a different
so,
person.
They're gonna bring it up. They're definitely gonna bring it up when it comes to Meet the Parent, and they asked me about that today. So,
but it's like it sucks, and it's because like raising $1,000 for sick children is fucking. That should be something really proud about. But I can't tell a lot of people because then they'll be like, how? They'll be like, well,
since you've asked.
But yeah, going back a step, I remember I was at PAX. It was the PAX 2019 PAX. They had like a panel with a lot of Australian streamers, a lot of partnered streamers as well. And I can't remember. I think it was a bird from Starlight Foundation. Might have been WWF. Anyway, they asked them, and they said to them, it's like, how do us charities get more of you guys, you know, the popular streamers, to jump on board with helping us raise money? And one of the guys, I'm not going to call out exactly who said what or whatever, but the general gist of the conversation goes, there's too many of yous and we don't like running too many charity campaigns each year. So we'll pick one of yous and that's it and do it. And it's like, and then I feel like that's backwards to the mindset of, because particularly when you start out streaming and stuff like that, you go, oh, well, I've got to be popular. Once I'm popular, I can do these things that other people do, like charities and whatever. And then the popular people will be like, well, we're popular. We've got our own communities and our own stuff we've got to work on. Charity stuff isn't a big part of that. We're only going to do whatever. And, you know, Pesley's the exception. And Pesley was actually there. And his comment was that his community is different to everyone else's. Because for those who don't know, Pesley started out, he's an ex-army man, and he started out doing fishing streams, and where he'd just go IRL streaming himself out fishing and just talking shit while he's catching fish. And then he switched to Tarkov because it's got that real army vibe to it. He can sort of do his own take on things and talk about it, whatever. And he's very open, very honest about everything and whatever. His demographic is like mid-30s to 50. Like they're old people. They're the people that are watching it. They have money. They have a house. They have a job. They have money that they can then, you know, spend to give to charity. And that's why he hits the 100,000s and, you know, and beyond goals for charities, because his demographic's different. If you're streaming Fortnite and expecting to earn $1,000 in whatever from your Fortnite viewers, they'll have to steal their mum's credit card, you know? It's all about perception. And that's where people are like, you know, oh, this person's so popular, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, but if their community, depending on your community, you might have a community that supports you a lot through subscribers. You might have a community that supports you a lot for your views. You might have a community that just supports you as a person. They're all very different. And I think that's where people get a bit confused, because they all just go, I'm a person, I want to be partnered streamer. And they don't care about the route that it takes to get there or everything else, and they just want to be partnered streamer. But there's plenty of partnered streamers out there that average 50 viewers now and have their close-knit community and they're perfectly fine and happy. And then there's other ones that obviously do 20,000 plus, whatever. But yeah, it was just very interesting that the take from the top of the particularly in Australia, the top sort of streamers was, you know, charity's more work for us to do, so we won't do it all the time because, you know, we've got our own shit going on. Versus small streamers are like, hey, yeah, we can do something, let's do something. And it's probably funnier or better than what a lot of partner streamers would do. So yeah.
Reminds me of a few years ago. You remember when Ninja was like at the top of the food chain, 300,000+ subscribers? He had a block on King Gathalion's charity stream for St. Jude's Children's Hospital.
Yep.
They do the Guardian Con every year.
Yep.
And Ninja was like he was the final block. Everyone got 4 hours, and he was expected to like make so much money for the charity, but like Dr. Lupo made way more money than he did as far as donations, because like Ninja's community was a bunch
I
kids.
didn't want to say it, but that's
Lupo's
that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, Ninja's
Lupo
the
has
perfect.
a more mature age group as he's made.
Yeah, he does.
Oh yeah,
And that's why Ninja didn't make as much money, because, well, just like they did on the roast of Tim the Tap Man, they were like, well, Ninja's viewers can't be in here because you have to be 18.
Dr. Lupo is his Tarkov as well, yeah.
He plays Tarkov.
Yeah, but he plays Tarkov.
He made it from Destiny originally.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that base. Yeah,
He kind of varies now.
Yeah, the lot
Like
of those
right now,
guys
he's on
can.
an Apex kick.
Is he? He's back on Apex.
The takeaway.
Yeah, he's back. He's been playing Apex this season for now.
Yeah.
The takeaway is like everyone can join a charity campaign. Like you can make money for charity, but you do have to put in the work and the effort to say, hey, this is what I'm doing in response to your donations.
And it's also a matter of do your own thing. Like, don't look at everyone else. Don't go, I'm going to be Ninja, because Ninja's got his own problems.
We all know that Ninja calls 2020 is fucking It basically, everything went downhill from watching him try to floss at New Year's.
No, look, he wasn't seeing enough movement, all right?
He wasn't seeing enough movement, and so therefore the world went to shit. We got COVID, we got bushfires, we got everything.
For a guy,
it's a Ninja.
You blaming your bushfires on Ninja?
I'm blaming our bushfires on Ninja.
Do your own thing. I think as well, do your own thing. Maybe don't wear a Snorlax outfit doing shoeies out of an Ugg boot
I don't know.
in a kiddie ball.
It's pretty fun.
That's a pretty good one.
Nah, I think doing that is like, I mean, if I stream tonight, $10 donation, I'm just gonna do a shoey, work boots and all. Let's go.
Well, I was saying next year we should just have you and Aladi doing a cooking stream together.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Do we want that much chaos in one kitchen?
Like I said, it's a lot of work. It would have to be a pretty big milestone to happen, but that's a thing for next year. I think. It might be later this year. Who knows when we decide to do our next thing? But Stream Razor campaign ends next month, so we've got a whole month to kick on with any sort of donations or whatever we want to do. Which is it's good. But give when you can.
You have to be an Australian to be on it.
No, not at all. In the same way, like,
but there is.
I've got people
in
that
the US.
I've got people that are in my stream team who do the St. Jude's thing as well. Just there's no borders when it comes to money. It's go.
That's true.
But yeah, it's just that obviously a lot of Australians do it because it benefits Australian children, sick children, hospitals, and so on. But yeah, so I mean, like, there's a lot of different, like, there's two main ones that get on board with streamers here. Well, three really. The ones that are just like freely done and whatever are obviously Starlight Foundation, who provide basically positive experiences for kids who are spending a lot of time in hospitals. So just creating games rooms and giving positivity to people that are trapped in hospitals, basically. So basically, shining a light in their dark times in hospitals. And then there's the WWF, who does wildlife preservation sort of stuff. They did a lot of stuff around bushfires that we just found out were caused by Ninja. Like we did a thing for the koalas and stuff like that on my stream, and they've always got something going on. And then there's one that do like for cancer research and stuff like that as well. They're like the big ones that tag on in Australia. But I know, like, in America, St. Jude's huge. And I think there's another one that I can't quite think off the top of my head.
I think it's the biggest children's foundation.
St. Jude's, yeah, easily. That's good. Like, the one thing I will say is, like, if you have the power to do that sort of stuff, particularly if you are popular or can do it, then you should do it, because it's a blessing.
It all helps.
Yeah,
any little bit helps.
All helps.
My biggest thing is always just like, if you can,
then do.
Yeah, if you can, do. My main go-to when it comes to charities, if it helps affect sick kids or like vulnerable people, yes. If it helps the fucking environment, yes. My two big
Just
things.
do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do it.
It's
Fucking
like
do it.
back when I used to work at a grocery store a long time ago when I was a teenager. I was probably like 20 at the time. There was a community of homeless people that lived up the hill in tents, and this one guy, I used to see him all the time. It was middle of winter. It was snowing. It was probably like 10 degrees. It was freezing, and I used to push carts there. And he's walking by, and he was sick, and I could see like he was cold, and he didn't have gloves on his hands, and like his hands were swollen and purple. And I was like, I don't have any money for you, but here, have the gloves that I'm wearing. And I gave it to him, and he walked away. And I found out he died like a few weeks later, but I imagine they helped him for a little bit, right?
Yeah. Like that's
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't need the gloves as much as he did.
Yeah. And that's
We
that's
had
it.
like a man who lives in my town who was a rough sleeper, and he would have like his dogs with him with an old bike, and it was coming to winter time, and I was a young kid, and it still stands out to me is my mum and I, we ducked into an op shop while he was in the supermarket trying to buy some food, and we bought like several good blankets from the op shop and placed them near his bike, and we left. And the next time we saw him around town, he was chilling, sitting on the ground with his dogs all wrapped up in blankets.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know,
And that's the
gotta
thing.
do what you can.
Yeah, that's it. Like in my workplace, like a lot of what I do, one of my specialties is loss prevention these days, and the amount of shit that like this company just burns money through just poor incompetence or whatever else, but then like refuse to give stuff to charity or whatever. It's just ridiculous. But our company, because we're an independent, we're very, very independent in the sense of the word of like we are completely can do our own thing for most of the time that I've worked there anyway. If there's an option of like writing stuff off, like we have like a lot of what they call men sheds around here, which is basically like a community workplace where people can just go and work and make toys for charity and whatever else. And we just donate shit. I've literally we had our warehouses like ring us up and like we have pallets of returns. Can you guys sell them? We'll sell them to your store for $50. And I'm like, all right. So they sent us like 10 pallets. I'll just wrote them off. Because it's fucking $500. It's a nothing to the business, and just gave them to the men's shed. I'm like, it's gonna cost me more to unpack this shit. Just give it to charity. And like they build toys, they teach underprivileged kids and all that sort of shit. It's like it's nothing to us to do something that's going to make a big impact to a lot of people. So why not? And it's like no one will ever argue with me on it because if they do, they're dumb. So
You make
question
the
about
impact
them.
that you can.
question about
I have a
what?
question about those men sheds.
Yeah.
In my area, where there's one like there used to be one like in the main town when I was growing up,
Yeah.
right? And I always got the vibe that are they to do with mental health? Because I never knew what they were doing.
They're
like,
council
what
based.
The whole point was.
They're community
Yeah,
services.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
I was always told, and I was always explained, it's like a lot of people with like mental health issues would go there, and it would it'd be a place to like vent, and like it's like a
it's a lot of
sick. Like that's such a good idea.
It's like they call it a men's shed because it's like where blokes go, and then there's other guys there and they can discuss their issues. They can work on get hands on with tools.
It's a safe place.
Yeah, it's a
for
safe
men
space
because men are often really neglected in the mental health area. A lot more men than women commit suicide because I don't know about how you guys in particular were raised, but it's kind of the stereotype where guys are like, don't cry, you're a man, toughen up.
And if you're in a city,
and that's why there's
a good chance you don't have a shed, So like this is like if you're in the country, a lot of country people, the man's home is in the shed, So they go out and they get on the tools and they fix this shit and mow the lawns or whatever. But it's like that a lot of people were apartment dwellers and stuff here, and this is their opportunity to still do that manly stuff. And then at the same time, they'll touch base with people like Salvation Army and whatever, and they'll build tools or build toys for hospitals, and like they get projects and stuff like that. It's all it's a good positive. It's a good positive influence on you. But because they're council based and community based, they get funding each year, and it's never enough. So if we can give them a pallet of paint or some timber or whatever, it all goes to less shit they got to buy. So it's just again, it's like we have the ability to help. It's at basic no cost to us. Like our donations get written off as tax write-offs anyway, so it's like it's literally nothing. It's just effort. So a little bit of not being lazy goes a long way, and we do it. So it's good. It's a good positive thing that we can do.
That's a good saying.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to a little segue, just because I know we're nearing the end of our time, I believe. And there's a very important topic that
Which
is
one?
on the list.
Which one?
Oh,
I
can I
need-
can I guess
No.
which one?
Is it
Yeah,
the
okay,
thumb
go-
in the
go ahead
butt?
and guess.
Is it the thumb in the butt?
For those playing at home, we keep a Discord channel where we just chuck our topics as they come to us, but sometimes we leave no context or no reasoning to it. So it's kind of like, what the fuck is this even in here for? And a lot of them we
Here's a
glaze
joke.
over it. But
Yeah.
go
Poll
on.
on taking a thumb up the butt, and then I just replied with, "How many knuckles deep are we talking?" And then Aladi posts a gif of Knuckles the echidna.
All right,
doing
let's take a step
the
back
meme.
here. We had a very wholesome moment there, and Shelby instantly returned it with thumb up the butt. Now, Shelby, you're not Frog, okay? You can't derail this podcast.
I didn't derail it. 30 seconds in, I set the tone, okay? I just want the topic, though, the topic that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what this is. I need to apologize to Shelby about something. It was written by Aladi.
Well,
I
What
saw
the
that.
fuck?
Who knows? It could be bait. You sure you want to talk about it? Maybe you need to apologize to
talk
me
about
about
it.
something.
No,
Oh,
come on, hit me.
Oh,
Hit me
All
with
right.
it.
Well, look, we need to talk about it.
Right, do we want to?
Yeah,
Get this out on the
you know
open.
what?
I
You
want-
know what, Frog?
Please, just
Frog, I want you to
offering
guess.
a premise of an apology.
I want you to guess
What
what
did he
this.
do?
What is this, Frog? What do you reckon? We'll take some guesses.
All right.
What could
okay,
this be?
Do I get three? Do I get three?
You need three.
Okay, I'm gonna handball one of them to Nor, and then
Okay.
I'm gonna do a second. So it's gonna
Alright.
be I'm gonna guess one, Nor's gonna guess one, then I'm gonna guess.
All right,
one.
I'll give you whether or not you're warm or cold. All right.
Best of better.
What?
You asked Shelby for 2 knuckles deep.
Cold, very cold.
Right, Nor.
Did you catch on to her sex candle kink long before this conversation and tried out some of her supplies?
It's no, that's cold as well. It's nothing raunchy, if that helps.
Did you do an extended version of the cooking cooking stream where you actually it was just you? It was an after dark edition, and it was you alone in the kitchen with a grapefruit.
Oh. Well, up until the grapefruit thing, I was going to say I live in my house and do use my kitchen daily. Yes, that's a normal thing people do, but not with grapefruit. I don't actually like grapefruit, so can't have.
Well, you're not
Is it
eating
more-
the grapefruit.
It was a after dark stream edition of him cosplaying.
I will
as
say
the,
that I made some like.
lady from the grapefruit video.
Oh my god! Stop! I regret asking you. That's what I regret. No, I want to talk about meat pies for a second. All right.
Oh, fuck off.
Is it okay to microwave a meat pie? That is the question. Like, is
No.
that an acceptable way to
No.
cook your meat pie and eat it?
No.
You have an oven and you had time.
Isn't it like a chicken pot pie?
I mean, I don't think you have meat pies over there, so it's
What
like
do you classify as a meat pie?
it's basically like
Like a pie with pastry all the way around, but it's not apple. It's
yeah, it's meat and gravy.
Like a beef?
Yeah,
Like a
beef.
ground
It's lots of different things,
Beef
but the standard
gravy,
one is
beef
beef gravy. And, yeah, beef gravy.
No,
I'll-
no vegetables, just meat.
No, just standard one's meat.
vegetables.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
A really good one is beef and mushroom.
Beef and
Yeah.
bacon. Beef and bacon's good. Anyway, my
Bacon,
point is,
eggs.
I
Can
buy them
Can we
through.
ban the word mushroom?
We should. My point is, I buy pies. All right, I microwave them. Takes me like 3 minutes to cook them up, and then I just get in them, eat them up, all good. Yum yum yum.
With a spoon.
No, yeah, with a spoon sometimes.
That's even.
Look, you say that, but also I saw Bajo did a TikTok where he turns the pie upside down and opens the back of it up and pours the sauce in it and closes it back up and then just eats it up because he's
Okay,
truly a
what
monster.
did you do?
Ooh, no, that was something I did as a kid where I'd take the lid off the pie, I'd pour the sauce
Yes.
in the.
Oh no,
I'd pour
Bajo
sauce
doesn't do
in
the
pie,
lid.
and then I'd shut the lid.
Yeah, he
I
doesn't do
just
it.
do the
He
lid.
turns it
That's why.
upside
Opens
down.
the bottom.
He opens the bottom because he's a monster.
That's
Anyway,
That aside,
so
Bajo aside,
what
do
I
you
wanted
call
to
it?
say is I thought, well, fuck it. All right, I got these pies. I got a different type of pie that's got a bit more of a lighter sort of pastry on it. Put it in a microwave, and then like it's quite hard to eat because it's a little bit, it's not crispy on the outside, so you can't hand it. So you have to actually eat it with a spoon. But I thought today I'll put them in the oven because I had a little bit of time. I was actually chatting with Nor here in Discord while I was got my pies, got them out of the oven, and I gotta
That's what
say,
you were cooking.
they were a lot better in the oven, like a lot better.
Oh.
So
light.
You've come to your senses.
possibly,
No, don't admit defeat. Never
You know what?
surrender.
Because you've come to this realization, and are you apologizing? You can go ahead with the apology part.
You get a thumb up the butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate prize.
I apologize for fighting the urge to just microwave out of spite from now on. I tried the oven. The oven is a better option. I will still microwave when I'm caught short, but generally speaking, if you can oven bake your pie, that's better. There you go.
Okay, your reward. I'm buying you a pie maker, and I'm gonna make you fresh pie.
I had a
Nice.
pie maker. I don't want it.
Your reward is I'm gonna walk to Keith's Pies and buy you some nice pie.
Yeah. When I grew up in my hometown, we had a bakery down the street. It had 28 different types of pies, and I think that's what reason I'm the size I am, because I couldn't agree on one. It's like woo, so many pies.
I also just want to
can I
state that Shelby didn't actually ruin the wholesome moment. Technically, Frog and I did, because she just brought up speaking of a new topic, and Frog and I instantly went to thumb up the butt.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It just happened to be what she was going to talk
Don't admit
about.
defeat, North.
Well,
when it comes to
we're being
thumbs up the
men
butt,
here.
we
We're
ain't-
talking about our stuff.
We ain't defeating when it comes to thumbs up the butt.
Well, we are defeating when we're playing Apex. You know, we're the Toe Clan.
Toe Clan is dominating.
So can I just give some background as to that thumb up the butt conversation?
I would like to know what.
Why do you always
I don't
save it for the end of the podcast, dude?
Context Fridays, remember?
I'm hovering
Your
over
5
the
minutes to me
explicit
is
button.
Disgusting. You got 5 minutes to me is disgusting.
No, don't go explicit.
Go balls to the wall.
Basically, all right. So I was driving home. Sometimes when I'm driving home, I jump in Discord and I like this chat, right? And a lot of the conversations, like I've spoken about a MILF. I've spoken a MILF that works at my fucking work that just like shoved her tits in my face to fucking try to convince me to like stay back for the weekend. I've talked about many fucked conversations, right?
Some on the
thumb up
podcast.
the butt one is most are on the podcast. The thumb up the butt thing was okay. That is a conversation that was spread between me. I think Nor joined in halfway. Shaughnessy and Pratt's. So I'm discussing with them. The male G spot is in the butt. It is in the anal hole.
Yes.
It is in there. Yes, correct. We
Yes,
can all
the prostate.
agree. They didn't know that. They didn't know that. And so when I said, when things get a little blue and things get a bit freaky, I'd be all down for a thumb up the butt. I was judged by Shaughnessy and Pratt.
Hang on, hold on. I just want to dial back here. We've joked about it a lot. We've talked about in the podcast and elsewhere. Who's a top and who's a bottom. And like the term bottom comes from the gay community with men who love men and whatever. Who would be a bottom for fun if there was no G spot in there? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, true.
But then, what?
Bottoms wouldn't exist then.
No.
Hang on. It's just take a step back, all right? First of all, Frog, you can continue your story in a second. But also, Pratt's and Shaughnessy are not the people you go to discuss, taking it up the butt, all right?
Whoa, we're not taking it up the butt.
No,
we're
we're
just
not
gently
taking it up the butt.
inserting.
Also,
Finger?
I'm just saying their experience levels.
Experience levels. They haven't leveled up.
They haven't seen some shit.
You're not a man until you've had a man.
Okay.
No, but like, what I was saying was no. You could be a top, but still enjoy a thumb up the butt. An old reach around. You go like you could be going at it and get like a little bit of ass play. It's not a fucking weird thing to be talking about. Like it's like
The appropriate reach around.
Yeah, the appropriate reach around. Like it, it's a good time, right?
I wonder if they ended. No, never mind.
No,
No. You have to now.
You're
hovering over that explicit button.
After that conversation, did they go and try and find them?
maybe not at that time, but as it
like-
pandered.
They tried to unlock the next. They tried to unlock that next level on that battle pass. You know what I'm saying?
Look, I just find it shocking to believe that anybody doesn't know that, because like logically you got to think about it, and then it's obvious.
Tell Shawnee there's V-Bucks up there.
Like the only reason that women like anal sex sometimes is because it stimulates the vagina from the inside.
Or that they love Jesus.
Yeah, that too. It's the loophole. It's the loophole in the scripture.
It's definitely a hole.
Oh man, I could
Definitely a
definitely segue into something, but I won't.
Oh,
There was a conversation that was it's on a different podcast, so I haven't got the notes, so I don't want to go too deep into it because I don't know the full story.
Go too deep, huh?
But basically, the gist of the story was there was a guy on Reddit who discovered that sticking stuff up his butt felt nice. And then, like, he continued on, like, he kept updating. He's like, today I did this, and oh boy, wow, what an experience! And it's like, and it's just, it's completely open. Like, he was just so innocent and going, I didn't know that if I stuck this up my butt, I'd get an erection. I didn't think that was a thing. It's like, and it's just this whole journey, and it goes on for ages, and then eventually, he's into us play. But it's like, it's that same sort of thing where you guys are now, it's like you're the gateway to them Googling it now. They've probably gone and Googled it at least and gone,
Yeah. Have you ever seen the movie Road Trip?
Mm-hmm.
No.
All right, so you remember the ending of Road Trip?
Yeah.
That's kind of like what it is. I feel like if they haven't seen that movie, that they should probably watch it. It might inform them of some things.
Yeah.
You just get your massage candle. Get your grapefruit ready.
Oh, fucking stop.
You don't need a candle or a grapefruit when you got a good old thumb attached to your body.
Oh boy, it's a thing. Anyway, so
Can
you started
there's
with
There's a really good quote from a podcast I've been listening to recently. Like, there's some really good places to There's two places where you can confess your sins:
okay,
a confession booth
and
in front of a live audience on a podcast. And
one will judge you, one won't.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I mean, we did all discuss that. Like, if we get to episode 69, it's just going to be a lot of noise.
Noise.
Pretty much.
But like I said, we have a Discord. It has a lot of different topics in here. Then a lot of them we don't get to, and it's like why Triple J hosts sound like they consume vomit for fun?
Yeah, the fuck. Okay, can we just all? I don't know what everyone's taste in music is, but can we all just agree that regardless of the music on Triple J, the hosts are fucking idiots. They sound like they would. I'm not even gonna get into it.
It's cringe.
It's so cringy.
Yeah.
They just fucking talk utter vomit. It's like verbal diarrhea. Like, it makes no sense. It makes me mad just listening to it. Cut your shit. Get into the song quicker. You sound like a fucking idiot. And I'm gonna stop myself before I cancel myself. Fuck me. There's some shit that I could say about them. I know Triple J hosts. I knew a guy that used to host like a really late night fucking. I think he did like a 4 till the morning shift fucking thing. Like, it was. He did it like 3 years ago. I met him at a club, and you could just tell. You could just tell from meeting this guy. He thought he was a celebrity.
Right,
he
yeah.
thought his shit didn't stink, but at the same time, he didn't want to be seen with you because he's too cool. Like, he didn't want to be around you.
And this
is too cool.
This is not a put down in any way. This is I have an idea that would actually probably improve Triple J hosts. Right, I know the perfect person who would
rid of him?
Replace him with this person who is so vaguely and almost indiscriminately, deliberately cringe, but also acknowledges that it's cringe and does the same. Like, this person is perfect to chuck on Triple J. They wouldn't even
me.
Well, no, not you. Shaughnessy would be perfect. He'll be like, Here comes the next tune. Straight into the next tune.
his transitions is just
hits a Fortnite dance.
Yeah, this one's for all the Fortniters out there. Ring up now. We'll give you some V-Bucks.
We love our furry friends, don't we?
He's like
the best version of them. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah,
they're trying to be Shaughnessy. They're trying.
Oh my god, the next song this is Chauncey, right? It's like, oh my god, next song coming out. Dab, 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 dab. And then it just cuts and it's like, up next we have Tame Impala.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah. Why am I
cuts
playing
into
this?
it.
Because I fucking hate myself.
That would be
I hate
great,
this
actually.
effort. Look, I wanna end here with like a little like note. I think I know what we should call this episode.
What's that?
What?
ZLB goes knuckle deep.
No, that's not it. I have one more story before we finish this podcast because I just remembered something that I forgot that is a thing because I, for a short time, was on radio.
So was I.
I don't know if we've talked about it before, but I used to work for a youth organization, fresh out of school, and the ABC, so the government radio, that's all the old boomers listen to, whatever, needed some kid representatives to come on their morning talk show on a regular basis. So they asked me to come along, and it was interesting. Radios are cool. Like radio stations are cool. The whole thing was very cool. I remember once they brought me on, and the topic of the day was that there's so much hardcore drugs in school. You know, when are they ever going to listen about, you know, ice and cocaine in schools and stuff like that? That's the way they present it to you because they want the conversation to go a certain way, right? Because they're trying to prove a point about the use of ice in school, whatever. Anyway, they got us on and they started talking, and I'm talking back, and I said to him, I said, I was straight out of year 12. So I'm like, I've just been in school, and I got to tell you, there's not that much like hardcore drug use in school. If anything, we should really be discussing the amount of cigarettes and alcohol that are consumed by kids on a daily basis based off the habits that they get from their parents. And that was like not okay. Like that was not okay. Like it's true, but it's not okay to say because that's not the message.
How dare you make a logical point?
How
dare you?
They had like people call in to the station and like talk to, and then I was still there because I think like it turned into this whole conversation piece because then people were ringing up like, oh my god, but that's not true. The kids they don't smoke, they do ecstasy. I'm like, I've never seen ecstasy in my life, but I know like so many kids that smoke. I have seen it since.
You've just been going to the wrong schools. There was a kid that jumped out of a
all
window
schools
on
are doing ecstasy, all of them.
We would have had a very similar kind of schooling experience because we're both like country schools, whatever. And I feel like when we've talked about it, that there are similarities. And like the same thing, we were always warned about like hard drugs and things like that, but I never once recall hearing about anybody in my year level or in my school in general doing drugs, except for that one kid who would smoke pot at the bus stop.
Yeah, right. I don't consider like smoking pot a massive thing. I think like in the grand scheme of things, smoking pot versus smoking nicotine, you're probably better off smoking pot, to be honest. But it's like the whole thing is that if they're worried about what kids are doing to their bodies, it's like the perception that you drink to get drunk and black out versus you drink to have, you know, fun or socialize or whatever. You know, that's that particularly when I was growing up, it was like I had kids that would go and, you know, get bottles of vodka and stuff like that and just drink them as fast as they can and black out as fast as they can because that's cool. And I literally had a friend who by the time he got into like his third year of uni, he turned yellow. And he physically looked like he was out of The Simpsons, and it was because he fucked his kidney and from drinking and just heavy drinking and heavy smoking. And he's good now, but he had a lot of, you know, he had to see a lot of doctors and have a lot of stuff done to him just because of that. But then the media didn't. That's not interesting enough because they're not going to stop that. They want to be like, oh my god, think of the children. They're all doing ecstasy and doing lines of coke in the bathroom. It's like, no, not really. I mean, maybe one kid or two, but fuck, where'd they get it from? Like, kids in school don't have that much money to be doing coke lines for school.
The rich man's drug.
That's for the private schools.
Yeah.
But yeah,
seriously.
Back in my day, all you had to do was go down behind the gym, and there'd be literally the neighbors to the fucking school were growing pot. And you just climb the fence and go get some pot.
I'm sure that we had teachers smoking pot at one of my schools for sure. And I don't know if we talked about the fact that at my art teacher, we used to always joke that she looked like Mrs. Crabtree out of the South Park. And we were like, she's definitely just doing weed, and she's actually a carny that fucking the circus left her behind and the school hired her for cheap. And we always used to make that joke. And then one day when the carnival came to town, she was working there. And it's like, oh, well, there you go. God. But it's the whole thing was like, yeah, it's fucked, whatever. And I'm sure it's a bit different these days because, you know, like ice is a big thing now and stuff like that. But it's still not, it's not the bane of the problem. The abuse of alcohol and drugs and whatever is not based on the drug. It's a bigger problem. But the interesting thing was because I was on Boomer Radio, on ABC Radio, I would have that conversation, and obviously, you know, whatever I say, it matters to a point, but at the end of the day, I get off the radio and then the host takes over and he just pushes his message anyway. But I'd go to work and then like all the truckies and the people at work and stuff would be like, oh, I heard you on the radio this morning. Yeah, fuck the kids, you know. And I was like, yeah, okay, it's great. But it was just a very weird experience. But yeah, for like a year, I was on the radio basically once a week. And, you know, so definitely better than Triple J hosts, maybe, you know. I know exactly.
Not better than Shawnee.
No, Shaughnessy should actually just do a radio show. Fucking.
We should outro with our greatest she's.
Well, hang on. Before we finish this podcast, let's do a quick plug. Let's start with Frog __.
So how many knuckles are we plugging with? Like
that's Shelby's plug. She doesn't get a plug anymore.
As many as you possess, Shelby.
You can find me at ShellBunny _ on Twitter, or ShellBunny on Twitch, and ShellBunny94 on TikTok.
Yeah, just at ShellBunny and say, just put a number there, and we'll know how many.
Yeah, tell me how many knuckles deep you want to go.
You can find me at frog _R6 on Twitter. It's frog __, and you can also find me 2 knuckles deep.
Too many underscores, Frog.
So many.
Too many. You need more knuckles, less underscores.
More
Northstar.
Just fist me.
I'm Northstar on Twitch and Northstar TV on every other social platform.
Poggies and no underscores. That's wild.
No underscores because I'm not a heathen.
You're the only person in this podcast that doesn't have an underscore somewhere.
I don't have an underscore.
I refuse to use underscores.
Yeah.
Some of us can't.
And this podcast has its own Twitter account, which is ZLBpodcast, on Twitter. No underscores.
Underscore 69 underscore asterisk.
Little X, large X, small X. That's how you used to do it. And obviously, ZombiesLvBacon everywhere else you'll find me. And yeah, it's a decent podcast this week. And we're not calling it Knuckles Deep. I don't know what Shelby's affiliation with Knuckles is now. It has got me concerned. And
wait, what happens if you get?
You're going to find out
in the arsehole. It's gonna nope.
Well, we almost made it, guys.
Come back next Monday to feel the extra knuckles.
Oh, okay. Thanks for everybody for listening. You can find this podcast on all good podcast platforms. I will find some better guests for next week. And
what?
Sonic's
at least 1 knuckle deep, right?
How many knuckles can you fit in an ass?
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.